It has been some time since you laid the fallen soldiers under Tritia's command to rest. You had been warned that she would eventually find you and hunt you down. She has been stalking you and undoing the good deeds you've accomplished recently. You'll make your stand here. She must come to you on your terms if she wants to fight. Well, finally, Tredia has been able to spot them, but yet unknowingly so, she not know that some of them have been seeking her out, and now by her coming forth, it makes a confrontation that they've been so looking forward, not knowing that this captain, fallen captain, is a powerful and mighty. On the quest card, it says that she cannot be harmed, and her armor, unless her armor is weakened by a hero, must successfully do at least 6 damage to her. Okay? Now, that damage will cause no damage to her in a sense of vitality. And also, she has a target number increased by 1, and her attack inflicts an additional 1 damage. Instead of doing that, I'm going to stick with something more formidable and her true status of who she really is. And this is her. And this is her card. If you notice here, she requires 3 successes of greater than 4 in order to, in any sense, to wound her. Alright? She has 5 vitality, she moves 4. She has also 2 different skills, okay? And more importantly, she does that 1 damage per success. And she has a range of 2, and more importantly, she rolls 4 die 10. So that's something very, very scary. And she needs 3 or greater. Alright? And she has a special where she rolls 5 dice, and if by chance of success, she has Rip, which makes the opponent go prone. Okay, let's review her skills. She has the Enchanted Plate, which the figure may move through any figure or terrain. However, the movement, so basically she can walk through anything, but she must end her space in a clear tile. So she has also Indomitable Will, okay? And that says after this figure suffers 1 damage during a hero cycle, each additional damage the figure would suffer is ignored. That is just makes her much tougher. So that means you have to survive like 5 rounds with her. Alright? Each hero and ally within 2 squares of this figure suffer 1 damage and gains the prone. Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, so she is, you gotta keep her distance. Arthur has to humor her, while at the same time, don't forget, Indomitable Will is after the figure suffers 1 damage during a hero cycle, each additional damage the figure would suffer is ignored. So you can't just, and she's also immune to damage over time and prone. But let's hope you could see at least her stats right here. And that is most important. Now, she priorities an NPC, threat proximity. Now, luckily, there's no merchant nearby. But the legend does have certain things, and those legends do not take a priority in this sense of quest and setup. Okay, because the layout for this one is pretty much as stated behind. And it says this. Alright, so she's pretty much set up this way. And more importantly, place Tredia as far from the hero's starting position as possible. And this tile only requires her, if you could see that. And that only makes sense because at this point, she's the only threat. And she's a formidable threat, and she's like more tougher than all the minions and anything that you can think of. So, let's see what the heroes will do. But now Tredia prepares herself for it. Very, very important. So, she can only take 1 damage per turn, and you require at least 3 successes in your roll to make anything happen. So the first to play out is obviously Lily, and Lily feels musical, and she has to do whatever she can to hold back Tredia, or at least to have an effect. So the first thing she's going to do is pretty much, she's going to affect the tile right here. Each enemy within range has its attack target number increased by the numbers based on your movement. And she's not going to move. And it's going to be plus 2. So instead of her 3, Tretia will need a 5 or greater. Okay? And the next thing she's going to do is also do this, which is a neutral verse. Increase the range of each of your verses by 2 squares. You gain 2 threat. Okay, so she goes up by 2 threat. She has 2 threat. And don't forget, the first of her verses has caused the AP to go up by 1. And she's going to do the next thing, which is, so this is would be from where she is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's going to hold off to see if at all when Tretia does move, because this can be an action, but she might use this against her. So what she's going to do, because it doesn't matter, she's going to move 1 tile forward, and instead of the 3 damage is 2 damage. Don't forget, you can only do 1 damage anyways to her because she has this formidable armor. Okay, and basically because this is 2 range of 2, but we increase the range, if you remember, she will do 1 damage, and Tretia will take 1 damage at this point because range is 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Tretia will be wounded by that. So if you're following through, we increase the range because it was upon them. And this will cause the AP to go up by 2, by the way. So the AP is at 3 now. Okay, and it was an action, so she cannot do any more action. As you could see, the AP on the bottom is 2. And she, because she did damage, she also took 2 threat. No, 1 threat, sorry, because she only caused 1 damage. Okay, even though that she was able to do 2 damage. And that's it, and that ends her turn. But it was formidable, but at least now she took 1 damage. The only thing to remember in this scenario is now the heroes can't, in this hero cycle, do any more wounds to Tretia. What they could do is now they could go through the deck phase, and then from the deck phase go to the refresh phase, and the refresh phase, or they could go to the deck phase, and because they're after the refresh phase and after refresh phase, they go back to the hero cycle at this point. So before the heroes go and do their deck phase, Arthur will move in 2 spaces, leaving the AP currently at 3. Okay, and in this case there is no treasure, there's only a reward if they successfully defeat Tretia. So this is all out defeat and confronting a great captain who has betrayed herself to the darkness. Okay, and Amnok will move in 2 spaces also right here, and so will Trish move right here, and he will also Lance move in 2 spaces just to get a little close up to her, but remember to stay 2 tiles away from her. All right, this is very, very important right after the deck phase, the refresh phase, that once Tretia does activate, that someone's confronting her, so keeps her at a distance at all costs. Now in the refresh phase, because we did the deck phase and pretty much Lily has removed her only threat, we are at a situation where pretty much Tretia will have increased the AP by 1, and it's at 4 because of the fact that there is an enemy on board, 1 type of enemy on board, and it's a ruthless captain. So hopefully at this point the heroes can do something remarkable, and 1 more damage is what we need. So every round we need to do a damage to her. Now, very, very important, we do know that we need 3 successes in order to strike her, if you remember. But Lily was able to strike her because it's an automatic damage, which is different than melee attacking her, and in this case, or range attacking her. So in this case, that's why she was successful. And we're back now to the hero cycle, and let's see what the heroes will do. So before anybody could take an action, we have Lily play another song, which is They Sang as They Slew, and it has a range of 2, which pretty much puts most of them within her range. And that is that reduce the AP cost of each hero's successful attack actions by 1. you gain 1 threat by each hero affected. So, and there is 3 heroes affected by this, so she will gain 3 threat. Alright? So in this case, she will come and do that. Now the heroes will respond. Before Arthur valiantly rushes in, Trish's blesses him with the hero's edge, and that will enable him, as that is an ongoing spell, that will enable him to be a little bit more formidable than he regularly is as he confronts Tretya. Well, Amnok can't do much other than heal right now, and he has some abilities that will increase the damage output to Tretya, but Tretya is limited to 1 damage because of her indomitable will, which makes her a really formidable opponent, and that makes Amnok kind of almost rendered useless. So Arthur will finally move in 1, 2, right there to confront her and looking vengeful into her face. One thing I want to importantly mention, this, if anybody's wondering, this little miniature character of Tretya representing is not available in the original or even in the later myth. Okay, I had to come up with that miniature, and that miniature comes from another type of game. But very important, here it is, Tretya, and Arthur stares her down, and the thing he's going to do is take this action right here. And this attack, pretty much 1 target within range, and this attack gains +1 fate die for each rage card. We'll keep it simple, it's just an action. He's going to attack her straight up, nothing formidable. Don't forget, he has the hero's edge in this case, okay? And he will do that 1 damage, so he wishes to do to her for this round, because otherwise there's nothing else the heroes can do to her. So he will roll 1 because he's a soldier, and 2 because he has the Heirloom, okay, the Maldorian blade, if not forgotten, and 1 more because of the hero's edge, and so he will be rolling 4 dices. Let's see. So he only needs 3 successes. And oh boy, did he get, he only got 2 successes in this case. Alright, let's see if the heroes can help him in any way. Arthur misses. Her armor stands, and that wasn't so good, but without delay and without hesitation, here comes, as the AP is at 5, Lance will react quickly, not allowing Tretya to dodge this attack. So Lance, now that his turn, he will cause the AP to go to 1 because he will do this. Seeing that Arthur failed, he will unleash this. This gives him 3 die 10. It's an aspect of the mark. Attack 1 target within range, and this attack does not require an ammo. And for each hero adjacent to your target, reduce the target number of success required by 1. Minimum 1. So it's he would need, instead of the 4, he would need a 3. Okay, which is amazing. This is an action. It increased the AP by 2. So he will roll the 3. You got 3 dices for that. You got 1 for his, well, stick bow there, or we call it a stick and twine, and 1 because he's a great archer. So he'll have 1 fate die there. So in the end, he will roll, well, 5 dices. And let's see. Okay, well, he has a success. 1 success, and even though he does 2 damage, 1 damage is ignored, and, well, pretty much Tretya has taken her damage fully, and this will increase his threat to 1 of Lance. And seeing that Arthur failed, he had to quickly respond and react before Tretya can do anything, and that is amazing, amazing reaction that he did. And he kind of saved it. And don't forget, because of the title that Lance has, as mentioned before, unlike his other fellow members, he carries 6 skills and not the ordinary 5. Alright, so Tretya now will react, and as the AP is at 1, and she will respond to pretty much what happened. Now she goes basically on NPC and threat and proximity. Okay, but because Arthur is right in front of her, I don't think in a sensible way it would make sense that she would go run around this. So what she's going to do, she's going to confront Arthur, who is there to make the threat to her. She has 4 dices and 1 fate die, which I don't know what's the purpose for the fate die, because again, she does not require anything for this roll. If you see this, it's an ordinary simple roll, but she has a special on the success of this. So I'll remove this 1 fate die and just roll her ordinary attack. And well, I think she has a success. And damage 1 per success, range 2. So pretty much, well, it's 1 target and she needs 3 or greater. So Arthur is going to get a bludgeon. But Arthur, luckily, will use this, which is ignore 1 enemy attack targeting you. So I'll take that. And pretty much, he didn't move because he was right beside. Well, I don't know if he could use this because he did move in this hero cycle to get to her. So, is there anything that he could do to dodge this? So if you have a shield engage, each attacking target increased by +1. That won't make a difference here, buddy. And this is increased by for each rage and you don't have. So that changes that. And just checking with you. All right, so she pretty much would do. So 1 damage per success, and she has a target of 3 or greater. And in this case, I would say she did 4 damage. 4 damage, and so that means that he has 4 vitality. Wow, she did formidable, and now she's going to roll for the 5 fate die. Okay, so because she was successful, there's 5 fate die, and let's see. And oh, she got 1. And what this does, rip. So rip, what it says is each hero and ally within 2 squares, okay, of this figure suffers 1 damage and gains the prone status effect of this figure. Okay, so so Arthur will take another ripping, and he's down to 3, and he will also go get the prone effect. So he's pretty much prone, and prone status is pretty much use this as a token. And what it is, I'm going to put it on his thing. So he's kind of prone right there, and that's not good. So that kind of, that's how dangerous she is. But we did bring her down to 3, luckily, and we just have to survive another 3 rounds with her. So you could see how formidable it is. Hopefully Amnok can make a difference here. And Amnok could, without even raising the AP. He's, as you see, it's an interrupt, so it's during darkness cycle, or I should say battle, and he didn't move because he didn't do anything. And he restores 2 vitality to 1 target, and that's within range of 2. And Arthur will regain 2, so he's going to go from his 3 to 5. So it's an easy breather for him, but more importantly, Amnok will take 2 threat. And luckily so, that will be it for him in a sense of what he did in this phase. And I think, let's see if anybody else can do anything before the darkness cycle ends or Tretia's action ends. Now being back to the heroes dodged one, but luckily it's a good sound group and they feel not only skillful but helpful to one another. And Arthur is in a current prone position, and what happens with prone is, by the way, is if you're prone, heroes cannot move or play cards for 1 complete hero cycle. Enemies cannot activate for 1 darkness cycle. So status is removed afterwards, and pretty much he's going to actually get up right now. Arthur, because pretty much we're going to go into the deck phase, because there's no point at this point, because we need another hero cycle to terminate or at least do one more damage to Tretya. And the current AP is at 1, luckily. So before anybody could take action, first let Lily praise everybody. And the first thing that Lily does is, well, moving aside Tretya, is she will, by the way, the deck phase is finished. The refresh phase is now. The refresh will increase the AP to 2. Okay, but Lily now, knowing and seeing how fearsome Tretya is, we're going to play a positive verse. So each hero within range gains +1 die 10 to attack action, and that's very, very important. That could be used as reaction. We'll increase the AP by 1, so it's going to bring it to 3. The next thing is, which would have been nice before for Arthur, each hero within range may re-roll all failed dice once during each action. All right, so that's very, very good. And aside from that, if need be, it's a reaction, positive verse, range 1. Okay, so anybody around her right now can pretty much do a free 1 move. Okay, 1 additional move without having it considered that they did a move. So that will leave with Lily. So that benefits everybody, and Arthur has to reconsider what he did. But before that, let's see what Amnok will do, because at this point he is wounded. Let's not forget that Arthur and Trish do have a major vitality and they could heal 4. So at this point they don't feel that they need to. Right now Amnok can't do any kind of healing. So we're going to go on to, let's see what the other heroes can do before Arthur takes his aggressive action. Arthur glances over to Amnok or to Lance and see if anything they could do, as he gives them a mighty shout of battle roar, and that affects the whole tile. Each hero within range gains -1 target number to hit the attack action, which is very, very good, and it's much needed. So that is what Arthur will do for now, because he's able to attack, but he doesn't want to attack because the thing is, the AP, he could unleash the Harvest of Bones, if you remember that one. But it costs 2 AP, and just to attack 1 and just to do that 1 damage, it's just not worth it. So let's see what others can do. And attack 1 target with it is attack against number. Okay, equal to your faith. So what we will do, it's a very powerful one, but it only costs 1 AP, which is nice. And actually Amnok will unleash an attack, range of 3. All right, and pretty much just attack 1 target within range, and the attack gains number of additional die 10 equal to your faith. And right now, well, pretty much just his faith is 1, so in case he will have 2, and that's not enough, but he will have 3 dices, and they all have to be success. The target number has been lowered, so it made it easier, and you could re-roll, don't forget, and that's more important. And also, everybody for attack gets an extra die, because thanks to Lily's Found Joy battle. So this will increase the AP. This will be an action that Amnok will actually do. So if you're following, so this one will give you a die 10. Okay, that's for the angelic word. Okay, to equal to her faith, and he has 1 faith right now. And very, very important, then he also gets 1 for his holy relic. Okay, so that will give him 1 die, and he also gets 1 fate die because he is an acolyte. He gets also another one because he is an acolyte. Okay, so he gets another one because of the acolyte. Now let's not forget, he gets another one from the positive verse that Found Joy battle from Lily. Okay, and that pretty much gives him those 4. Let's see if anything else can increase that. But right now, and also don't forget he has that re-roll. So let's roll and see what happens. Oh, by the way, he's no longer prone. He has risen to the occasion. So 4, 6, and 9, that is well sufficient. And also lower the threat, because this is an acolyte's fate symbol. So instead of taking anything, he will remain at 1 he will remain at 0 threat because of this. So he will not get any threat because, well, pretty much he did his 1 damage. He can only do 1 damage, and Tretya goes down by 1, and that was amazingly done. So it's incredible that when you play with so many great players or characters like them, that everybody could do anything. So some can increase your dice and rolls and this. It's very important to calculate and to put it together. But in this case, right now we did 1 more damage to Tretya, and that is pretty much good. And that only increased the AP by 1, as we know, and we stand at 4 at this case. So we got 2 more that we could do pretty much at this point. And on the hero cycle, we could only do 1 damage, so that's sad. But this is where we got to go back to the deck phase, the refresh phase, where it's going to increase the AP again by 1 thanks to Tretya, and the heroes get to go act again. So let's go into the deck phase quickly. So now that we reached the refresh phase, the AP will go up to 1, and it's at 5 now from the original 4. And Tretya is itching as she edges against Arthur, and the heroes eye her very, very closely. It gets back to the hero cycle. Now the hero can try to do 1 more damage before Tretya does take her action for once and final. So Amnok will unleash the Feet of the Saints, which lowers pretty much the attack cost by 1 AP. Alright, so that's very, very good. And another thing, Armor of the Faith. It affects the tile, and pretty much each enemy within range has its attack target number increased by the number of equal to your faith, and at this point his faith will be 3. So Tretya's will have to reach 6 or greater to pretty much strike anybody. And let's see what else he would like to do. So he will kind of stay where he is, and he will leave it at that. Luckily that didn't cost any AP. Without hesitation or delay, as a reaction, Arthur will strike again at Tretya for 1 AP, which will make her react right after. So let's see if he successfully attack. Attack 1 target within range. If the target is armored enemy, this attack gains -2. Now, she has the enchanted plate. I would assume she's armored, but usually that is argumentative, because if she's armored, it would say here. The only thing it says is intellect and doesn't say armored per chance. So I'm going to kind of say that, as much as thematically so it makes sense, that she is armored, and her target number should be lowered by 2. But just for the sake of what the card holds, or at least what her representation characteristic is, I will not give that to the character. So instead, each hero. Okay, so instead of this costing 1 AP, will cost 0 because Amnok's Feet of the Saints. So he will need to strike pretty much 4 or greater. Okay, so let's see if he's able to. He will roll 1 because he is such a great soldier. He will roll 2 more because of the fact that he has the Haldorian blade. And he will roll another 1 because of the Hero's Edge. Don't forget that is something that Trish has blessed him with and has given him much strength in. So let's see as he goes and strikes. So 9, 1, a 1, and 4. He just seems unable to do it. And that is a shame, because right now Tretya will react. Okay. And she will take surely her revenge on him for trying to strike at her. And as much as one would argue on this whole armor thing, sadly so, I just have to stick thematically with what it says. And even though you would agree with me that I would say that she is armored, but in this case it's not. So as Tretya readies herself to strike Arthur, Arthur disengages, okay, as he never moved, Otherwise, this would not have been able to work. It's an interrupt, and pretty much he interrupts her attack. So before resolving an enemy melee attack targeting you, gain 2 movement to spend immediately and ignore the attack. Not considered a move. Whew. So he's going to move 1 and 2 right there, and she's going to go, whoosh. Oh, what a strike and miss, and she's really upset right now. But they dodged this one, as the AP is now at 0, okay? But I guess it evens it out because Arthur was again unsuccessful to strike her. That is 2 rounds that he could have done that. Amnok gave him the best advantage, and at this point, we're going to go this hero cycle. We're going to go right forward to the deck cycle and refresh everybody. But before that, I think Lance feels there's no need for that, and he feels, let me do what I have to do at this hero cycle and take my action. So before that, Arthur will bring himself back in front of her as she almost moved forward, rushing Lance. But Lance will do his thing, and what he will do is through a Needle's Eye, which will give him 2 die 10 because he hasn't moved ever, and does 1 damage based on the ranged weapon. So attack 1 target within range. If using ammo, the target and targeting armored enemy, we don't know it's armored, so I'm going to assume it's not. And this is an action, by the way. And with that action, he will use this skill, which is the Vision of the Mark. Your next attack action that uses ammo gains, pretty much +1 die 10 and 1 fate die and +1 damage. So at this point, it reassures that they do at least 1 damage, because at this point, sadly so, we know that Arthur has failed. So Lance aims, and he can, by the way, there's no obstruction for him, and he has the range, it's 4, and this is only 3 spaces tiles away, as you could see in counting right here. And what he's going to do is at 1 cost of AP, so it's going to go at 1 at this point, the AP, and he's going to roll. So he has 2 dice and 2 die 10 because of this. Okay, he gets 1 more die 10 because of this. He gets another die 10 because of being a great archer, and he gets another one because of his stick and twine, which is not the most beautiful thing. He gets an extra fate die because of this, and he gets another fate die because of his archery skill. And now he will roll against, and don't forget, he still has an advantage. So because it's the same hero cycle, and that darkness only came because during their hero cycle, Amnok's ability still stands. Each hero within range reduces the AP cost of 1 attack action by 1. So then in the end, we still remain at 0 AP. And also each enemy within range has its target number increased, so equal to your faith. But in this point, Tretia didn't attack. Oh, it did attack, but she was ignored, disengaged by Arthur. So let's see what happens here. Whew. He easily strikes. He has abundance of success. So Tretia will take another damage, and that will pretty much put it at, give him 1 threat, and brings him at 1 threat. And at that point, he has successfully taken 2 action spots, which will lower his threat to 0, and everybody's threat at this point will be at 0, as they will be going into the deck phase and preparing for what's to come. And this was a formidable round, but as we could see, Tretia has 1 vitality, and I think the heroes will be able to finish her off. Hopefully it's going to be Arthur to do the final slice and dice. So the deck phase has ended, and now pretty much she will look around, and she's the only enemy, and she tries to push around Arthur, but the AP will increase by 1 because there's 1 type of enemy on the board. He goes to the hero cycle. Now let's see what the heroes, how they end this formidable confrontation against Tretia. And by the way, if we play the scenario, if the original way where in order to start damaging her, we will have to do 6 damage to her armor first, it would have been easily done, or at least done through lance only. It would have been only able to do one, because you have to do 6 damage in one strike, and only Lance would have been able to do that with Orion's Tears and the arrows he can carry, because he can carry up to 7 ammo, and that will unleash against Tretya if successful, obviously, in the roll of the die. But in the end, that would have been the only way, because we want to confront her as who she is and not in the scenario itself, because it would have been much simpler, right? So Tretya's target number increased by 1 and her attack inflicts 1 additional damage. Okay, so in this case scenario, we kind of went just simply what it based on her card itself. All right, and let's see now what the heroes will do at this end. Before anybody could do anything, Lily turns around, faces with her warp spoons towards Tretya, and being 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles away, okay, a range of 4 tiles away, she can't move much. So what she's going to do is she's going to force Trish to move 1 here, 1 space, and then she's going to move right here 1 space. And because she did that, she is within 3 tiles away to unleash their deaths decided. So it will do to 3 targets, but you only need 1 target. It's a negative verse that does 1 damage. Deal 1 damage to a number of targets within range based on your movement. Cost 2 AP. It's an action, and at this point we'll bring the AP to 3, but that doesn't matter. Tretya crumbles, and in tears she falls, and that is something formidable and as an opponent, and that's got to be the toughest opponent that we confronted. It's just because you're limited in the number of damage you could do to her in a round, a hero cycle that is more specific. And what you obtain because of this, you get 4 serendipity, which you can't keep. This is a mighty end, and because of this, what we obtain is if Tretya is defeated, gain 4 serendipity and draw 1 gold item card. Anytime you would encounter Tretya from now on, which would possibly be, as we are broken her very, very formidable, indomitable will, her target number and vitality are reduced by 3. That's very, very good. All right. So at this point, 1 gold item, that's the most beautiful thing, and 4 serendipity. So at this point, moving forward, we will keep this serendipities and we will keep these items. All right, and this is a special item, so it's not like anything else. We have a sense of accomplishments, so we have done very, very well. So let's see who and what is this great gold item. Unbelievably so, they have found, as she has shattered her armor and it has fallen apart, there is the Reckless Ascent. The gold item armor is part of a set, and they're all part of a set, and this one is formidable, but yet sadly so, they can carry this armor with them wherever they travel, but for some reason it will not fit, or Arthur will not be able to wear it, and that is realistically so due to the fact he requires the title. And sadly so, in that case, he will hold it aside until he was able to. I hope you enjoyed this confrontation against Tretya and her defeat. Sadly so, we know her treachery, and moving forward, hopefully if we ever confront her again, because we've broken her once and this time we can break her again, because we will keep this as a reminder to let us know of her defeat, and she will be, well, not in full strength moving forward. Well done, and I hope you enjoyed it, and come again for the next adventure or whatever comes forth with Arthur and his valiant, skillful heroes.
Tretya falls to earth broken, her enchanted armor broken and her spirit weakened, beyond even the darkness' skill to repair. Arthur has gotten his vengeance for the fallen, and found mercy in letting her soak in her guilt of defeat.